Imagine having 4,000 followers and in less than 2 months bringing in close to $10,000 in sponsorships. Well, that's exactly what happened to Elizabeth, who runs a local business event in Virginia Beach. 3 years in, and the first two barely broke even, but this year was different. Here's Elizabeth's story in her own words.
So I'm a business coach. I am located in Virginia. What I'm really passionate about is helping people do what they love and make a living doing it. I host a lot of local events in my area, including one big annual event that we do every April. But my business is actually run online, but I do a lot of local things as well. So the way I look at it is like, I don't consider myself a content creator by trade, but I use content creation for my business. So they're different, but I'm still essentially a content creator, but it's leveraged the same way Justin uses his content to grow my business, not necessarily like in the form of like just getting paid by Meta or TikTok or anything like that. I met Justin in early February. I was at a mastermind event in Minneapolis, and I was introduced to Justin, and I got his book and was told all about Sponsor Games. And so I like kind of last minute decided to go to Sponsor Games and like binged his podcast on the way there, and obviously learned so much at Sponsor Games. But just in the time that I met Justin, between, getting the book, listening to the podcast, going to Sponsor Games, I was also preparing for our live in-person event. And I was able to land not just more sponsors than I ever have before, but we made more revenue off the sponsorships than ever before. So just in the 2 months after I met Justin, I probably did close to 10,000 in sponsorships, which is huge for like the small business that I am. So I would say this is my third year doing the annual event, and year one was really the first time I did sponsorships. I got very lucky that year, and I was able to land two sponsors, and one of them turned into like a long-term sponsorship deal and a really, really good relationship. And that was, sheer luck. There was a lot of mistakes made that year, but that one sponsorship was really beautiful and kind of opened my eyes to like, oh, this is really a thing. But then year two, I got so many no's, and year two it seemed to be almost harder than year one. Um, and turns out it's because I had no idea what I was doing, with the pitches. I think it's just kind of knowing the right people. So I got it, my SMS company that I use for my marketing, I got in with them when they were a brand new baby startup. So the CEO of that company, I was in regular contact with, and I think they happened to have a marketing budget. And at the time, they were wanting to market to a lot of coaches and consultants, course creators, creative, business owners. And I just was like, hey, I'm having this event. Like, you guys can come and speak and show about your product. And that worked really well for them. Um, but it was luck because I kind of already knew him. I knew they kind of had the budget, and I was brave enough to ask. Year two, I was kind of reaching out to companies that knew nothing about me. So, we can all kind of like network in our orbit. But I think what I learned from Justin is like how to land sponsors that don't know anything about me. The one I just mentioned was like a shoe in, but the other sponsor, they negotiated like affiliate commission. So they were like, let's give you a little bit less cash up front. But don't worry, like all the sales we get from the event, like you'll get the affiliate commission. And this was a huge lesson learned because they didn't get the conversions that they hoped for. Um, and I could see that's because they didn't really participate in the event and get to know the other attendees, where the first company, they like were so immersed. I mean, they're going to like the breakout sessions, and they got their journals out, and they're like literally hanging out with the attendees. So that trust was built. So like everybody naturally was like, I want SMS messaging in my company. It was such an easy yes. And then this other company kind of just came and spoke and then left. Well, actually, they had one-on-one appointments too, but for whatever reason, they just didn't close and didn't see the conversions. So it was like I almost like lost out on an opportunity where I could have made the full sponsorship amount from another company. I think we got them 9 one-on-one appointments booked, but they didn't get any conversions. Yeah, I mean, a lot of learning lessons. Justin's helped me on this particular case quite a bit, because my old mentality is like, well, what do you mean? Like, I'm getting them the people, they should be able to convert them. Like, it's not my job to like make the sale. I'm just sending them the people. But in reality, I think I could have looked at it a little bit more like a marketing consultant, like Justin teaches us, because I do know a lot about marketing.
Real quickly, that marketing consultant mindset that Elizabeth just mentioned, that's one of the core shifts that we teach you inside Wizards Guild, our sponsorship coaching program. See, most creators think that their job ends once they get the brand a bunch of views or they give them a bunch of leads, but the creators who land the bigger deals, the consistent deals, and keep them treat the brand like a client, not a checkbox. They're looking at the landing page. They're thinking about the conversions. It's not just about the delivery. So if you want help thinking like that and pitching like that, and especially negotiating like that, make sure to jump on a free sponsorship strategy session with my team. You can go to wizardsguild.com, and we'd love to learn about how we can support you.
I think I was afraid of overstepping when really I probably could have said, like, hey, if you want to get the most out of it, I know my people. And if you sit with them and engage with them throughout the event, they're going to be more likely to want to work with you than, just sitting down for like a sales call. Transitioning from like, oh, the responsibility is theirs. I just send the people to like, wait, I know my people the best. So how can we get the best result? Yeah, like I was afraid of like stepping on their toes or like telling them what to do. Well, you know how Justin teaches us to like, look at their landing page and like give them some tips. And, I think for me at the time that felt like, oh my God, this is like a big company, like this is a big company, like they know what they're doing. Like, who am I to like give them marketing advice? But I think coming at it from the angle of like, hey, I know what my people need, in order to feel that trust or whatever. I think that could have been a better angle than like do this in your marketing, but like, hey, these are my audience and I know what they like and how they, interact. So I didn't give the brand advice, which I think is why they didn't get conversions because I was just like, oh, you need appointments, we'll get the appointments booked. And I just left it at that, putting on my marketing consulting hat and just saying, okay, we got the bookings, but what can we do better on the follow-ups or, encouraging them to, like I said, like sit down and engage at the event. Year two, oh my gosh, year two, we like totally kind of tanked on the sponsorships. I just got so exhausted from like all the cold reach out. We did have a couple sponsors, but again, they were like people already in my orbit versus, being able to reach any companies that didn't know anything about me. Zero converted out of my cold outreach. I would say probably at least 30 to 35, like cold pitches, cold pitches. The people that I knew were a little easier to convert. So the two sponsors we got in year two were kind of like business friends in a way, like they know me, they know my community. So it was an easier yes for them. Year one of the event, we probably were at like a $300 deficit, like breaking even, which, for my first event, that was fine because I was selling my program at the event. Year two, we probably made a little bit of profit, like $200 or $300 profit. But again, it's like break even. But year three, because the sponsorships were so great, we profited almost the $10,000 just from the event itself. So, uh, it's funny, it's like 10K is kind of like the easy, even number, but it does. It costs all 3 years, it cost between 10 and 12,000 to put on the event, um, consistently across the board, even changing the venue, like, trying a couple different things. That's pretty much what it costs to do the event. So year one and year two, we broke even. And then year three, because the sponsorships themselves paid for the event, I was able to keep the revenue from the ticket sales. So, if we had not had the sponsors, we would have broken even again for the third year. But because the sponsors were able to help us cover the expenses of the actual event, it was profitable for the first time. So that was really like exciting. Yeah, I mean, they were great. The first and second year are great as far as being a lead generator for my program. So, I end up making $30,000 to $40,000 selling at the event. But sponsorships, yes, in terms of sponsorships, year one and year two were nothing to write home about. It was just like, please just help me break even, right? Where year three, I was like actually able to be profitable, which is, most people know when you do live events to sell your program, the event itself is not profitable. It's just break even, you want it to be self-liquidating kind of thing. So to know that I've now created a profitable event because of the sponsorships is really exciting moving forward. I think what's gotten me so excited about this and what I'm really excited to help Justin, spread the word on is like there's no creator or business too small. I mean, I have, 4,000 followers on Instagram. Like, and that's probably my biggest platform. And to know that I did, $10,000 in sponsor deals just in 2 months, there's no business that's too small. Yeah, I mean, it feels great. It's because it's not, Justin really taught me that it's not about my platform at all. It's about knowing and understanding what the brand needs and wants and how can I help them get there, regardless of the size of my audience. How can I be somebody that helps them achieve their goals, and it's not always conversion, sometimes it's just retention. And there was just so many things that I didn't know. And now I feel like I'm so much more equipped to do sponsorships year round, not just for my live events, but for my monthly meetups or for my podcasts. I mean, we're still wrapping up like all of my over deliverables, but and I think we have one more podcast to still go live. So the cool thing, about my sponsors for the event is like I deliver a lot more than just the live event. They all come on my podcast. They all get, a private like solo email sent out. So we're still like crossing our T's and dotting the I's on all of that. But yes, I've been so happy, and everybody got a copy of Justin's book because Justin was one of our sponsors at the event, and that was been like so awesome. Yeah. The interesting thing about my event is my sponsor packages were already set. And this is cool because there was some validation in like things that I was already doing well, So like there were some things I was doing really well, and then there were some things I was not doing really well. But the way I had organized my 3 packages for the event, um, I was told that like by my business coach, who's also friends with Justin, he was like, "You could charge way more for this," which of course, like that's the goal is to get the sponsorship packages bigger. But they're also very data driven, knowing like, okay, the event is about $10,000. If I sell out these packages, I'll make enough to cover the event. But yeah, so we have 3 packages. One of them includes, like, speaking time at the event, so that's obviously really powerful. Like, as a business owner, I know anytime I get to speak, I'm gonna see an ROI from that. Uh, and then the smaller package included being able to be in the swag bag and then, the podcast episodes, etcetera. And then, we had like a just donate what you can package and like, hey, we'll throw your logo on a couple things and you can put something in the swag bag if you just make a small donation. And that's kind of great for like the smaller businesses and my community members that like to give back. And they can all be negotiated, but I think I did a pretty good job with the packages so people could pretty much easily pick what they want. Year one, the one that wanted to negotiate the affiliate commission, there was some back and forth with that one. This year, I don't feel like I had as much negotiation or, anything like that. But I know as I move into getting sponsors for other things, like, live events are, I would think, in my experience, are a little bit easier or a different game or, higher um, rate of saying yes. Because most people know that when their business has representation in the room, it's going to convert better. Like, that's just the reality of it. But I think now as I start going into asking for sponsors for my podcast and like year round, I'm going to start learning so much more versus like my experience so far is really only in the live events. I'm curious. I probably start a little bit earlier. I think when we plan events, like so much stuff can always sneak up on us. And I was booking a lot of the sponsors like a little bit closer to the event than I would like. Like in a perfect world, their podcast episodes go live before the event and so forth. But I just feel like I can go bigger. I feel like I can reach out to bigger brands. I feel like I can probably raise the price of the sponsorship now that I have so much proof of concept. Um, yeah, it feels like there's a lot more opportunity for next year for sure. Like, what if I could double it? Like this year I did 10K in sponsorships. What if I do 20K and we can really make the event even bigger and better? So, a couple brands that I had reached out to and gotten no's from, it's because I was pitching them for conversion, basically. And what I've realized that I can start doing with surveys and annual reports is like say, hey, I know that I have 500 of your users on my email list. Or let's just say 30 of your users are going to be in the room at this event. And I'm noticing that some of them are starting to leave, like, let's partner on a retention campaign. And that's like language that I didn't even have before. I was just like, I'm a business owner. I've got 60 business owners in a room. Like, it just showing them all my statistics. Like, I wasn't able to bring any of that knowledge to the table of like actually looking at the campaigns that they've been putting out and like what their goals are, and then being able to speak directly to that. I mean, I think being able to speak to the things this year that went so well, that's a good thing for me to make note of, is like making sure that I am documenting the wins, especially, over time. So right now we have like, 65 people that got Justin's book in their hands. So it may take them a couple months, but the good thing is they're all in my community. So I have access to these people. So, 6 months from now, I could do a survey and like, how many of you actually read the book? And then that way I could come back next year. And I'm using Justin as an example, but I had another author as a sponsor too. I can come back next year and say, hey, X% of the people actually finished the book. Are you interested in coming back? I don't know. That might be too specific as what my business brain would want to hear. I think honestly, it's just betting on myself and continuing to invest in putting myself in rooms where I can meet people like Justin, learning things that I would have never learned before. Like I didn't even know that a sponsor coach existed, right? And having access to him and learning from him has just opened up so many doors of possibility. And I always get really proud of myself for making those hard decisions, to make the trip to sponsor games. That wasn't easy. Like I'm a mom of three, like I booked it last minute. So of course it was like way more expensive than it needed to be. But, it was worth it. I landed a sponsor deal while I was there. So I just always get really proud of myself for like doing the thing that was hard in the moment to make that decision, but then always, has an ROI. I'm just excited to like kind of show the way for these smaller creators, like no matter how small you are, that you can find sponsorships. And there's someone who was at my event who also hosts a lot of local events, and she's excited, and her audience is half the size of mine. So I'm like, that'll be another like huge win when she lands her first sponsor deal, and then we can come and tell you guys about it, because putting on the event has never been a fear for me. Like you give me the people, I can help the people. But I knew to market an event, to actually get 50 people in a room, that I was going to have to step up my marketing to a level that it's never been before. Like at the time, I don't think I had sold 50 of anything, like, on one launch or one campaign. And so I just knew that going into it, like no fear about hosting the event, but all of the fear on, can I fill the room? The event was happening. I landed the sponsors, like we had everything we needed. Like I was like, okay, now I'm just on a mission to fill the room. And I did everything I needed, whatever I could. I mean, we made a promo video. I was like doing one-on-one reach outs. I was like, bring a friend, bring a spouse. Like, I don't care. Like, I mean, I have some of the sponsorship money pays for like some high school students to come that are in the Entrepreneur Academy. I was literally just doing everything I could do, giving away tickets. It didn't matter. I was just so committed to getting 50 people in the room. And I mean, it really paid off. I'd never, ever done, $40,000 in sales in one day in my life before that. So it was a huge like quantum leap of like, not only was I able to fill the room, but I was completely blindsided by how profitable it was. Tell Justin and the team thank you. I'll always be in his like top fan club, and I'm happy to share with everyone else because I want more people to win too.
Now, if you want to go deeper on why follower count isn't actually what's holding you back, make sure to check out this episode right here.